All right, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Linda Lappy. I am with Special Olympics Colorado, VP over competitions and regional services, as well as oversee our coach development program. We also have on the line Julie Fight, Western Regional Manager, Michelle Pewter, Southeast Regional Manager, Susan Fogue, our Director of Competitions, Sean Whitley, our Program Assistant, Corey Chandler, with Coach Development, and Hope, and I have on Jeff Franklin as well. Adrian Mora with the Denver region is on vacation, so he's going to try to call in if he can get away from Napa Valley. But I told him if he's drinking a glass of wine to just, we'll fill him in. So he's unfortunately not on the call right now, but if you have any Denver region specific questions, we can get to those at the end. First things first, I'm hearing a lot of background noise. So if everybody can be sure to mute your phone or your computer, that would be fantastic. It'll make for a much more enjoyable call. Perfect. Good job, Ashley. And when we're hearing, if we start to hear multiple voices and echoes, it's probably because someone is on their phone and also on their computer. Just be sure to mute both of those, and then we'll be good to go. Obviously, if you have questions throughout, there's a chat on the computer that you can ask, or if you think it's a question that everybody should know, feel free to ask over the phone. We'll give you plenty of chances to ask questions. Really, the purpose of this call is to make sure that everybody's on the same page from the state level. We have coaches from all around the state, and we want to just make sure that even though we have different regional competitions, we want to make sure we're all kind of running things in a similar fashion. So when your athletes get to the state event, they know what to expect. They're well prepared. And as coaches, I know that's really important for you all to know exactly what's going on so you can best prepare your athletes. Obviously, the least amount of changes they can have on competition day, the better they're going to perform. So we're really here to serve you guys, and we thank you for all your hard work. I know many of you are in season right now, getting ready for summer games, and for those of you that are preparing for the summer season, we just want to say thank you in advance for all the hard work that you do. I'm going to reiterate again, everybody can put their phone and computers on mute. Okay, awesome. That's much better. Thank you. Again, if you have any region-specific questions, we're more than happy to take those. Our regional managers, like I said, are on the line, so we'll just stay on the line after the call. Let's refrain from asking any region-specific questions until the end of the call, and then we'd be more than happy to do that. So we'll get started with the dates of our regionals and state, just to make sure everybody is aware of that. I want to make sure that you guys know where to find the regionals. Probably about 6 months ago, we created our region website, our region pages. So if you go on the website and you go to the About tab, which is the very first tab, and then you scroll down to regions, you can really find anything that you need to find. You know, if you're in the Northeast and you're going to the Denver Regional Tennis competition, everything that you'll need to know, you can click on the Denver region, and you'll be able to find the Golf Classic, Golf Fact Sheet, Tennis Fact Sheet. So that's kind of, if you forget anything from this call, you forget due dates, you can see everything in those regional websites, and everybody kind of manages their own, so they look a little bit different, but all kind of have the same information. So first of all, the West, you guys are August 4th, Canyon View Park, and that'll be a big event with golf, bocce, cycling, and softball. Entries are due to Julie Fight by July 25th. Denver Regionals for golf and tennis will be July 21st. Those will be right next door to each other. So tennis will occur on the outdoor courts at Colorado Athletic Club, which is the Inverness location. And then golf will be at Aurora Hills. softball will be right next to each other. So it'll be softball and tennis that will be kind of right next to each other, that we'll use those softball fields, just so you guys know. There'll be more than just tennis at that location, and then golf will be at Aurora Hills on that same date. Entries will be due to Adrian on July 8th, and then cycling will be at Arapahoe County Fairgrounds on August 4th, and then entries will be due on July 23rd. For the Northeast, you guys won't host any of these regionals. They're going to host softball and bocce up there, and so your teams will go to the Denver locations. You are still going to go ahead and get your entries, though, to Jeff Franklin, your Northeast Regional Manager. He'll make sure those get to the appropriate location, just to keep that streamlined. And then for the Southeast region, July 14th will be cycling, Memorial Park. Entries will be due to Michelle on July 1st. And then tennis and golf will go to the Denver locations. Again, go ahead and get your entries to Michelle Pewters, and she'll make sure she gets those to the appropriate people. Again, just to get that streamlined. You guys don't have to think about where to send those. Any questions with the regional dates, when entries are due, and where you're going?
Yeah, so the Southeast region for tennis and golf goes to the Denver Regional on July 21st. Is that right?
Yep, exactly. Okay, and then the state event.
Do both golf? Sorry, I was going to say, can an athlete do both golf and tennis?
No, well, it depends on what. Not really, because they're going to be the same day. So anything that's the same day, they won't be able to do. If it happened to be different days, then they could compete in both for the regional.
Okay. What if one was skills and the other one's they're competing? Is that still too hard?
We just won't be able to schedule it, and they're not necessarily that close.
Okay.
So at Denver, golf will be at one location, tennis will be at a completely different location. So that's going to be the really tough part. They can still be practicing though, so definitely keep them going if they want. All right, great questions. The state event will be August 18th and 19th at Memorial Park for cycling and tennis. And then golf will be at Patty Jewett. I know we have Susan on the line, so she can give you a little bit more details on exactly how that will look and what will be on the 18th and 19th, so you guys have an idea. And then just a reminder that we want all teams and athletes, Unified Partners, to be practicing for 8 weeks prior to the state event. That's standard policy for Special Olympics International, to be able to get those 8 weeks of practice. Obviously, it's really hard to do before the regionals a lot of times, but definitely before they go to that state event, they should have those full weeks of 8 practices. So as a coach, just plan accordingly for that on your start times, and if you need to take a week off or anything like that. So as far as forms and what you have to do to get started, I know we have a lot of veteran coaches on here, but it never hurts to just show you exactly kind of where to find them if you have questions. And also we'll kind of go over some of these entries. Susan will have a chance to talk with you about these. But just so you guys know, anything that you need to know coach resource-wise, you're going to go to Get Involved on the website, and you'll see the Coach tab. And you'll see Coaching Resources. You'll see our Coach Education button with some upcoming coach training sessions. And then you'll see the Coach Handbook. You can find all the rules here. You can find an athlete code of conduct. If you need an athlete code of conduct, you can find a coach code of conduct. Lots of great resources, both in the general and by sport. We're going to reference tonight the by sport a lot for our cycling and tennis and golf. So as we scroll down to cycling, you can see every sport will pretty much have this. I think every sport does have it. So you see cross-country skiing, coach roster, cycling, coach roster, figure skating, coach roster. This will all look the same. Many of you have filled these out before, but just to go over, just make sure these are filled out completely as you can. remember, this is not for your unified partners. So these are only for your coaching staff members, head coach, assistant coach, anybody that's at practices, multiple times that needs to have a Class A. Be sure to fill this out as much as you can with contact information. Obviously, the email is a huge one. Make sure that's correct. We send out most of our information via email with upcoming due dates and information that we may not have gotten to you at any point in time about the regional and about state. And then just a reminder, any coaches, and we've actually changed this, partners don't necessarily need a concussion awareness training, but all coaches 18 and above must complete the entire Class A. And if you go through the link on our website, it takes you step by step, so you don't have to go to different links. It takes you Class A, then it takes you to protective behaviors, then it takes you to the concussion training, and then it takes you to the background check. So you'll just do all of those in a one kind of stop shop, and it's become pretty quick and easy to do. So you'll do that. You'll send this coach roster in with your entries. So example, for the West, your entries are due to Julie by July 25th. You will include that coach roster form so she can check Class A's and all the things that she has to check. Any questions with any of that before we get into golf entries? All right, Susan, you want to take the entry forms?
Yep. So the majority of the entry forms look the same, but I think Linda's going to go ahead and pull up the golf entry form at this point. Again, everything you'll need for the sport will be under that sport. Remember, sports are alphabetical, so this should hopefully be easy for you to find. So the entry form, just keeping in mind that we need the top filled out, your region, your day of contact number, your team name, your coach name, and then if you have additional coaches or for golf partners or whomever that you might want to have that the information to be sent to, please put those extra email addresses in this line as well. The next box underneath that is for if you plan on attending state. So if you do plan on attending state, please check that so we can make sure that we get you all the state information as soon as it's available for you. The rest of it is we really just, we need to make sure we have the athlete's name, obviously, and then we need to have their date of birth. That helps us find the individual in our system if we can't read your writing or various things like that. The second section is the competition level. So we offer 5 different levels for golf. It's our individual skills, and that consists of putting, a short putt, a long putt, a drive with a wood, a drive with an iron, a pitch shot, and a chip shot. And I'll cover that stuff in a minute as well. Our level 2 is the alternate shot with the unified partners playing 9 holes. And then you'll see over in that last column that you can just add the unified partner there in that spot. You don't need to have a whole other section for that. That can just be added right there in that spot. If we're not able to read a name or if we need a birth date or anything like that, we'll reach out to you at that point. Our level 3 is our alternate shot with our unified athletes, and those guys are playing 18 holes. Okay. Our level 4, which I don't think we've had anyone in a while, but it's a good opportunity for some of our alternate shot level 2 guys that have moved up, is individual stroke play for 9 holes. And then our level 5 is our individual stroke play for 18 holes. And I think we had about 5 or 6 athletes in that last year, which is great to see that grow so that the athletes really are growing from the chance that they can participate in the unified partners and move up to that level. If an athlete is doing individual skills, we're asking for the total points to be added under the qualification score. I'll show you a sheet that you can use that will make that pretty simple. And then for our score 1, 2, and 3, those are actually scores from our athletes going out to golf on courses. Ideally, if an athlete is in the individual stroke play, we'd love for them to have a few times of going out to get 18 holes in, so they're ready for that. However, we also understand that many of you guys practice at night, and it's getting dark, and the storms that come in. So we just want you to be able to piece together 3 sets of 18 or 9 holes, whichever you're competing in that point. Any questions on that? Okay. The next part then would be our golf individual skills, and I'm just going to cover a little bit of the score sheet. So this is just a simple way for you as a coach to keep track of what the athlete's score is. You do not need to submit this to us. The total score at the bottom of this will be what goes into the entry form that I just covered on that total score part. So what you'll do, oh, sorry, it's not up there yet. So
Which one do you want?
basically it's just the golf skills score sheet. I think it was just the next one right under that. Yep. So again, this is for your use only, however you want to fill it out. This is just an easy way for you to say, okay, team, we're going to do our short putt scoring today. Line the athletes up, have them take 1 putt at a time, rotate them through to get their total score on that, and then you'll total that up all the way on the bottom. Okay? Now, you may be wondering, if you're not familiar to golf skills, how do I know the distances, how do I know those things? So if you go back to the golf page, or sorry, back to the coach handbook page, the next document right underneath it is the golf individual skills instructions. And that will go ahead and take you through exactly how to set up those skills. So for example, I'll just talk through short putt. You have 2 radiuses around the hole, and we've always been at courses and they've let us use baby powder to mark that. Check with your local course. It might just be a cone that you'll have to use, but a lot of the courses do allow the baby powder. And you measure the distance out and you measure the radius, and you have the athlete just putt from that point, from that spot. And then again, there's diagrams for all of them. There are pictures. And all of the skills are explained at that point. If you have questions on any of those, if you're not sure kind of how to set those up, I would reach out to your regional manager or myself so that we can make sure that we're setting those athletes up to know the proper skills at regionals and at state. Okay? Any questions on golf? Great. We can move on to cycling. So the biggest change that you guys will see in cycling, Linda's got the entry form pulled up. So again, the top part is very similar to the top part of golf that I covered. Again, we want to make sure that we've got the athlete's name, the date of birth. On this one, we actually have a section for the athlete and partner in that first spot. And then we have added unified racing, unified road races to our competition. So currently, in the past, I would say last year, we offered individual races and we offered tandem races. We are now going to offer that unified race where it's 2 people riding separate bikes, being a team. And the total score, the last man that crosses the finish line will be the last person to cross the finish line will be the score that we will use for the team. Okay? And you can see which distances we added there. We added anything from 2.5K up to the 25K. Okay? So with this, you'll just want to make sure you're filling the times. Oh, yep, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. This is Angela from the Western Slope. I was wondering, we have one athlete who, he basically rides like a hand cycle and needs an assistant. Could he ride with the coach, or we kind of have 2 people walking around? So with that unified cycling, is that a one person, 2 athletes, or an athlete and a coach? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, it's typically an athlete and a coach, and they're typically going to be on 2 separate bikes. So this, okay. Amy, sounds a little bit different. So we'll get together to make sure that that bike is that it's good, it's safe for our courses and all that. But then he should be good to compete.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, awesome. Thank you.
Any questions on cycling entry forms? Great. Next up is our tennis entry forms. Tennis, I think, for those of you coaches that have coached it before or are new to it, is a little bit more of one of our specialized sports, I would say. So a lot of our tennis teams actually have tennis pros rate their players, and I think that's something that is very helpful for a lot of our players, and it's very helpful when we get to our competition, so we know who would be having the best competition against each other. So for this one, again, the top will be very similar. We'll need athlete name, gender, and date of birth. And then we offer 4 different levels here in Colorado. Level 1 is skills. Level 2 is what we call our short court, and that is with a foam ball, and that's within the service area. Our level 3 is a little bit of a bigger court with a orange ball, which is a little bit slower bouncing for our athletes. And then level 5 is typical tennis with the regular courts and the regular tennis ball. Okay, so our athletes can be in singles and in doubles, and you will just rate them accordingly based on the next sheet that Linda can pull up as well. Actually, that looks like we're moving on to the skills one. So we can go ahead and skip ahead to the skills individual score sheet. So for individual skills, this is a list. We've got 7 skills we work on: forehand, backhand, volleys, ground strokes, serving, and then alternating ground strokes. So again, this is for just your information only. We just need a score from this sheet, so you don't need to share these with us. Similar to the rating, to the team rating form or the individual rating form for match play, you won't need to share that with us. That will just go ahead and be, we'll just need that number at the very end of it all. There will also be the individual instructions. This is for coaches as well, and this will tell you how to set up the skills. Okay, so all of our individual skills will take place in the service box using the red foam ball. So if you do not have those red foam balls, please reach out to me. We do have a grant through the USTA where we are able to get some of those to provide to teams. So if you do not have those, again, please reach out and we can get you some of those. But this will just talk you right through the skills and how you're going to run it and how you're going to set it up. Okay? Any questions on that? And it looks like, so there's an additional form that is for the rating of the actual players. It's the same form that the USTA uses, and we'll make sure that that is uploaded as well. Any questions on entry forms? All right, moving on to any rules and notes. Like I said, I think for golf, we just want to make sure that we're getting our athletes out on the courses in order to be ready for the regional and state competitions that they're going to be at. We'll be at new courses for both regional and at state this year. So just making sure the athletes are getting out and getting that practice in on the course, as well as making sure that, as a reminder, the athletes need to walk with their, they need to walk the course. If they have a medical reason for a golf cart, we'll need a note for that. But we'd like our athletes walking the course. We will put the clubs on a cart so the athletes won't have to carry the carts, but they will be walking the course. As far as cycling, just making sure that we're entered correctly, that you're entered correctly in the unified or the tandem. Again, the tandem is 2 people on 1 bike, and the unified will be 2 people on 2 separate bikes. Okay.
Yep.
And again, if you have a bike that is not typical to what you see, please let us know. We've had a couple of trikes over the last few years, which has been great for those athletes to be able to get to be a part of the competition at that point. So If it's a bike you're questionable about, just reach out to your regional manager and myself, and we'll make sure that we get it to be approved.
Okay, thanks.
Just
Did
a
you say
reminder
you added
on,
a 2.5K? Susan?
Yes.
Did you say you
It is
added
in
a
the notes at the
2.5K?
Yes.
Okay. Will that be, it's not on the entry form that we were sent?
It'll be updated then if it's not. I apologize for that. I thought it
Okay,
had been
thank
added
you.
to that. But we'll make sure that that's on there. Yep.
just a reminder with for cycling, just no day of event volunteers as a unified partner. Just let's make sure those guys are
Absolutely, yeah.
practicing together
Okay.
and working together. So also wanted to real quickly, backing up to golf just for a minute, as your athletes are practicing and they're getting ready, I just want to make sure you guys are aware of a free golf clinic that we have coming up. It's in Evergreen on July 25th. I have it pulled up on the computer. If you're on the computer, it's at 3:00 p.m. There'll be a pizza party to follow. If you have athletes that would like to participate in that, we have a cap at 50. So we'll take the first 50 golfers that want to go up to Evergreen and get a clinic. They just need to register at the link on the website. And you'll see her name is Erin. And you'll as a coach or have them email Erin and get signed up. Any questions with the golf clinic on July 25th? Again, this isn't necessarily, Special Olympics is not hosting this, but they reached out to us and said they could take about 50 golfers if we had some. So we'll be sending out information via email. I know Adrian will send that out, but they don't have to be just from Denver. If the Southeast wants to come up and partake in that, or the Northeast golfers, that would be great.
So we will get an email of that we can send out to our athletes?
Yes, and you can also find it online under the Denver region page.
Okay.
It's the very first link there. It says upcoming golf clinic. And you can pull that and send it. But yes, we will also follow up with an email probably early next week.
Linda, this is Karen
Yes.
Egan. Just wondering, are there going to be any other clinics offered as they have been in the past in the Denver courses?
Yes. Ben Rubel is the contact for those. I don't know if Ben is on the call or not. I think he had a couple of other things going on tonight. But I know he was in the process of working on those. He had a really busy spring with a ton of school day track meets. But he will be getting that information out probably within the next week or so as well.
Okay, great, thanks. And this may be a dumb question, but because it's the female golfers are doing it, it's for all athletes, male and female, right?
All athletes, male and female. Yep, and all ages as well.
Okay.
All right, should we continue on? Any other cycling questions, rules?
I do have a cycling question.
Yes.
I'm Ashley Steinbach. I'm starting a new junior cycling team, and I'm wondering if all of the bikes need to be approved. A good majority of my kiddos have adaptive bikes. And secondly, is there kind of a smaller distance that they would be able to do? I'm seeing that there's different skills for golf and different levels. Will that be the same for cycling?
For cycling, the lowest event that we have is the 500 at this point. That's the shortest event that we have, is the 500.
Okay, so
Ashley,
if they
do you think
can't,
that's short enough for your guys?
No, I don't. That's my concern. Some of their endurance is pretty low, and I have some younger kids and kind of lower abilities. So I'm worried about the distance and them being able to participate in the actual events. They're coming to all the practices, and we're going to make it social. However, I want to have them participate if possible.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk maybe after the call or sometime next week.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. I just want everybody to participate. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then tennis. I know we've got some tennis experts on the line here with us today. Do you guys have anything you want to add on what coaches should be focusing on?
One thing
Greg Stoltz.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Hello? Oh, I just had one question, since I'm new to some of this paperwork. When we, looking at the coach roster, it says list only the coaches. Unified partners should be listed on the team entry form. What I printed off from what you sent, there's the tennis entry form that Susan went over, but is that just for each individual athlete? Is there another team entry form that I need to pull off the site?
No, you'll just use that. So that'll be your team entry form, basically. So each athlete will just be written in on there. And then coaches will be on the coach roster, and that'll be all you'll need to turn in for us.
Okay, but then the unified partners go on the tennis entry form. It says coach's name, coach's email, and then you have.
Yep, they'll go on. So Greg, for example, if you and I are partners, your name is on the main list, and if I'm the unified partner, I'm just going into that unified doubles column over there, and you're just writing my name over there. Yep.
I see it right at the bottom. Okay. So, all right. Thank you.
And then just be sure, as again with unified partners, as we were talking with some of the tennis coaches earlier this week, just be sure to have one unified partner with each athlete. It's really hard on the competition if you have a unified partner that is partnering with multiple athletes, that's working with multiple athletes and are playing doubles with multiple athletes, because we'll have 6 courts going on at the same time. And so it really makes for a scheduling nightmare if we're holding up one court because that partner is playing with a different person on another court, if that makes sense. So obviously they can play multiple times, but not with multiple athletes. So really work hard to recruit those unified partners. And I know Adrian in the Denver region is willing to help recruit some of those partners. So just reach out to your regional manager if you feel like you need additional partners to help practice with your athletes and to work with them as you go through your season.
That will help streamline the whole competition. We've scrambled to get partners at the last minute in the competitions, and it can really delay matches. So I think that's a good point. You know, in our group, we'll certainly try to have everyone assigned ahead of time. We usually do.
And then this would be a good time too, also to make sure that you guys are aware of the coaching clinic that's coming up. I'll let Corey talk a little bit about that.
Hello, everybody. So we've got a really cool clinic coming up. Christy Harris and Greg Stoltz have been super in helping us put this together. It's going to be June 16th. Let me make sure I have that right. Yep, June 16th at Mullen High School from 10 to 12:30. And all coaches, assistant coaches are invited. So it's going to be about 2 hours. First hour will be some rules, some principles of coaching, talk about entry forms, what the day of competition is going to look like. And then the second hour, Greg's been kind enough, he's going to run through a practice with us on court with his tennis team at Mullen High School. So it should be a fun day of coaching and learning. So everybody's invited out to that one.
Oh, Corey?
Awesome.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, is Mullen aware that we'll be doing this at that date and time?
Let's talk later. I thought we had kind of, well, we'll talk after this about that.
Okay. I just wasn't sure, so thanks.
I can talk to Mr. Schenbeck over there, no problem. So we should be fine.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would be, so all right.
Yep.
Corey, is that high school in Denver or Springs or where?
It's in Denver.
Hi, Corey. This is Ruth with Rocky Mountain Tennis. I'm fortunate enough that most of my unified partners play almost all the practices with the athlete that they're going to practice with. Could I have some of those unified partners who I call them coaches? I mean, they make a big commitment every summer. Could I have some of them come for that second hour?
Absolutely, we'd love it. The only thing we ask is just be Class A certified. But
they all are. Okay.
Yeah, that'd actually be that'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
Ruth, that would be great. Yeah.
I'll write a note to get with you tomorrow on this one too.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Ruth.
Any other questions specific to golf, tennis, or cycling that you guys have? If you're looking over entries, hopefully everything makes sense.
I have a question. Can you hear me? I'm not sure how this thing works.
Yep.
Yes, I was looking at the state game dates of the 18th and the 19th. What day is the cycling? What day is the golf? And what golf course is going to be used in the Springs?
Yep. We'll skip to number 5. I'll let Susan take the state information, and then we'll go back to medical.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. So state will be down in Colorado Springs again. Again, it's on August 18th and 19th. So at this point, happening on August 18th will be golf at the Patty Jewett Golf Course. And then it'll be a typical afternoon tee time. Tee times will be at noon or 1 o'clock. We're still confirming that. And that evening, we will also be having the unified portion of tennis. On Sunday, and that will take place at Memorial Park, the tennis portion will. On Sunday, we will be having cycling and tennis also taking place at Memorial Park. It will be on a Sunday this year, so there will not be football happening in the middle for those of you that were there last year. We will be having our bocce and that'll be a little bit more fun of an area down there for Summer Classic than it was with the football players last year. But cycling and the majority of the tennis will take place on Sunday, with golf and unified tennis taking place on Saturday. And all of the information, it will be posted to our competitions page. Right now we've got our summer games up there since that's our next event coming up. But I plan on getting some Summer Classic information up there shortly. You'll just have to scroll down to find it. And then I will be communicating and posting everything that we'll need to go through on that website with you guys, rosters, final schedules, and all those kinds of things, so you can share that with families, friends, other athletes, etc., to make sure everyone has the same information.
Great. Speaking of the medical application, Class A's, just a reminder, having those for your coaches, Class A's, and your medical application for your athletes are really to protect you as a coach. If something were to happen to an athlete at that practice or to a coach, they don't have that stuff on file. Unfortunately, there's not much Special Olympics can do to protect you. If they do have that stuff, we have great insurance. So really, that's why we hound you guys so much about that, and also we will not allow them to participate in the regional or state without having that. So how this works is your regional manager will be emailing you your list from the previous year. If you have additions to add to that list, you'll just have to get those to your regional manager so they can check on the medical and the Class A. If you have additional coaches this year, we hope you do. Just get those names to your regional manager. If you don't get an email from them here in the next week or so, be sure to reach out. They may have missed you on their spreadsheet, so just reach out to them and make sure that you get that email. The biggest thing too with the medicals is have your athletes, make sure remind them to fill it out completely, fill out all the spots in there, and to make sure they also get the doctor's physical. If you can make sure that they don't send us incomplete forms, it really helps the whole process move forward a lot faster. It's amazing how many people send us half of the form. Then we have different piles, and we have 2 people that basically manage the entire state and all of our 24,000 athletes that are in there. So as much as you can help us out with that, that would be great. We want those Class A's online. That really helps the process move forward faster as well. We're trying to get away from all paper copies as much as possible. So any Class A, there's a link on there on the website that you can get to your coaches to have them get what they need. Any questions with medical applications, Class A's?
Can I add something, Linda?
Yes.
Okay. Also, it's important to make sure that the doctor's portion of it is signed and dated. A lot of the time, the doctor will forget to date it, and we have to send it back until that is dated by the doctor. Also, we do not accept doctor's notes in replace of the medical. We do need that medical form signed. So I've had a few people ask if that is acceptable, and I want to let you guys know that we do not take those. Thank you.
All right, Corey, Coach Code of Conduct.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to touch a few bullet points on the coach's code of conduct. Hopefully everybody has read over it. It is also on the website, and it's something that we cover a little bit at the clinics as well. But just wanted to touch on a few bullet points as we go along. Just make sure that we respect the rights, dignity, and worth of the athletes and the spectators of Special Olympics, that we treat everyone equally regardless of sex, ethnic origin, religion, or ability. You guys might be probably the most important role model that some of our athletes have, so just make sure that we're a positive one. Ensure that each athlete you coach in Special Olympics, the time that you spend is a positive one. Respect the talent of the athlete and where they're at, and set goals for the athlete, and then try and meet or pass those goals. Also, ensure that the athlete competes in the events that challenge the athlete. We don't want them to get too comfortable. Let's always push them to the best of their abilities. If we could, accurate scores help for our divisioning. We also don't want to see people sandbagging. We really want the competition to be fair and as close as it possibly can be. Our athletes hear everything and they'll copy everything. So the language, the manner we present ourselves, let's have high standards with that. Display control, respect, dignity, professionalism to all involved in the sport. That includes the athletes, the coaches, opponents, officials, administrators, parents, spectators, and the media. And let's encourage the athletes to do the same. They represent us. We represent Special Olympics. So we want a really high standard of that. Back to the athletes, see us do everything. So do not smoke, use tobacco, drink around the athletes. I know some of them are of age to do those kind of things, but we really want to encourage them to live a healthy lifestyle, so let's push that away. Absolutely no personal abuse towards the athletes, including verbal, physical, emotional abuse. We are zero tolerance for that. Absolutely no altercations, obviously. The best thing you can do as a coach is go into the sport knowing the rules and skills of the sport. Also, always have copies of your athletes' medicals on file. Everything's coming to a digital age, so it's easy to store files on an iPad, a phone. If not, have the paper medicals with you as well. And then that we're going to follow the Special Olympics and the governing body rules for all sports. So just kind of a nutshell, just do the right thing when it comes to it.
All right, great. Thanks, Corey. Well, thank
you.
you guys for being on the line. We really appreciate it. We have our staff that will stay on the line until we get all questions answered after the call. But just wanted to say good luck to all of you guys as you head out to your seasons. And if we can help in any way at any point, don't hesitate to reach out. And hopefully we can be a great resource for you guys as you have really, really important jobs, as Corey alluded to. So thank you very much. And we'll stay on the line to answer any questions. And also, if you're in need of coaches to assist you in any of the sports that you're coaching, stay on the line, and we'll get those to Corey. We'll write them down, and we'll try to help you find additional coaches in whatever you need. So thanks all, and good luck this season.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks. Have a good night. So this is Tim staying on